Hello, all my fellow Krabby Krafters. Pastor Ian, the Krabby Krafter here, saying hello, hello, hello. We're going to work on a quick little Halloween project. Just a little something. I just need to make something, so we're gonna have a little fun. This is a wood blank, and I had already done some experimenting with some distress crayons. I wanted to see the texture and see how it was going to take the crayon, and so not very well, but that's okay. We're going to fix that with some Collage medium and stuff because we're going to do some work with it. This is press board or I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, like a press board, but it's not water friendly. If we get this really wet, it'll soften and dissolve, but you can still seal it and protect it. So we're going to actually use this just because it's a blank that I had lying around. It's actually a Christmas craft blank. It was like $3. I got it for half off, like $1.50. That's why I buy all my stuff when it's super, super cheap. Tim in a recent live talked about the discontinued stuff, and one of them was this Sparkle Craft Stock, which I absolutely love. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut some of this up, and I'm going to use it to make some squares to go on this, and then we're going to lay some stuff over it. I did go ahead and pull out some backdrops, but I think I'm going to wind up using these for a different project. I'm not sure yet. So I wanted something that we could kind of color over. So these will probably wind up getting used for something different. But what I am going to do is I got my decal trimmer because I just want a little bit of, and you can do this with a straight trimmer if you don't have the decal. I got this a while back. There was like a nice little deal on it. So what I'm going to do with the decal trimmer here is I'm going to just trim off just a little bit off the edge because I'm going to run this in 2-inch strips, okay? And this doesn't actually let out or anything. It's pretty much limited to the 6 inches there that you see. And I wonder, actually, would it be easier? And it doesn't quite fit. That's what I thought. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just going to trim off just a hairline, just a little bit off of this, just to get, and I love these trimmers because they work so well, because I want that deckled edge. And what I'm going to do now is flip it around where I can get about 2 inches, and I'm going to line it up here on this 2-inch mark. Okay. Now, when you're working with the, and I'm having to flush it up top and make sure it's not, because of the way the deckled edge cuts more, and it's, I don't know how to explain it if you watch the videos. It's actually going to be, I can't line it up on the line because it won't be square. I just need to make sure I'm flush at the top, and then what I'm going to do is trim it. And now that I've got that, I'm going to do the same thing we did a minute ago. I'm going to just trim just a little bit off of that, just a super thin piece just to trim that off. Now we're at the 6-inch mark. Now I can just cut every 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is bring this down to 4 inches. And that's going to give me one piece deckled all the way around except for, no, it does. It gives me deckled. All 4 edges are now deckled. And then we're going to bring it down to 2 inches. Oh, okay, that slid on me, so that was not, I did not hold that well. So that was bad on my part. And I'm going to flip it around because I've got that one little edge that's still rectangular. And I'm going to slide it just enough, and I held it a lot better that time. And that's going to give me 3 deckled edge squares. I just like the deckled edge. They're not going to be perfect, but for what we're doing, we don't need perfection. So this one, this edge is already deckled. So we're going to go ahead and I want one more 2-inch piece of this. Do I? Yeah, I do. So I'm going to press and hold, cut that down. I'm going to keep this piece. This is a nice piece. We're going to set that to the side. And we're going to do the same thing that we did a minute ago. We're going to trim the edge of that so that I can get it down to the 2-inch mark. And then we're going to go down to 4 inches. Okay. And dealing with that deckled edge. So I am going to use, this edge is square, so this time I am going to kind of eyeball that. And let that give me 1. Then we're going to come down to 2 inches. And I'm using that straight edge as my guide. And then we're going to flip it around. And we're just going to decal that last edge. And let's see, just a little bit more. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay because, again, it's deckled. It's not going to be perfectly square, but that's not what we're going for. All right, now I've actually got 2 other sheets here, a little bit different style. I want to mix it up just because. So I'm going to do that off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these the same way that I cut these. I actually wound up with 6 pieces. And I'm going to do that on this one as well. So give me 6 of these, give me a total of 18 pieces that we're going to put on our piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. All right, so I've got all my pieces cut and just kind of went with some variety here. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to lay these out. So you've got these little grooves in this piece of wood. If I didn't have that, it wouldn't matter. I'm just trying to kind of preserve that because we're actually going to run some crayon down in there. And all I'm doing at this point is just taking these, and one of the things I like about the deckled edge is because it gives you, when I put them on there, it's going to give you that border, and it's going to be kind of a rough border. And it's just I think it's just going to help everything kind of look a little bit different, if you will. I don't know, just to kind of give it a little different, just a little different appeal. So I'm actually going to scoot this up and I'm just trying to space it out just a little bit different. And we are going to do something. What I'm going to do here, I'm trying to remember how I did this last time. And we're going to mix that up. So I'm actually going to go up a little bit off with that one because I don't want these to line up right here. I want to have the grooves kind of, so all I'm doing is I'm just lining it up to kind of see how I like it and to see what I might need to change around if I want to do something. But make sure I've got enough pieces cut as well. So we're going to put this piece right here. Now, I'm not worried about the gap, and I'm actually gonna pull this down just to kind of increase, there we go. I'm not worried about these gaps because we're gonna put ephemera over this. We're gonna be covering that up, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm gonna come back down here, and let's see. There's not really any way around it. They do kind of overlap. These 2 don't overlap, but these 2 are. So I wonder if. And I'm just, just trying to kind of, here, we're going to do it. We're going to try it this way. And yeah, that is going to match up there, but I don't care about that as much because that's going to give me, I don't care if the dark pieces match in the middle. I'd rather them match in the middle than off the top. I don't know why. It's just, and just look at it, do it the way you want to do it. Whatever works for you. And so we're going to do the same thing over here. And now I'm just kind of mimicking that left side. So we're going to put that right there. And then we're going to go with this guy right here. And I just want to see what it's going to look like. Okay. Now we'll have to move some things around because I don't have enough of those dark pieces. So we'll figure that out in a minute. But for now, let's put you there. And let's put this one here. Now I'm wondering, yeah, if I do it any other way. So they're just going to over it. So it is what it is. Yeah. So I think that's okay. That doesn't bother me too much. I mean, the pieces are just going to connect. It doesn't matter if, like I was trying to avoid, but I would actually have to do 4 different colors if you wanted to do that, and then you could stagger the colors. But with 3 different colors, there's just points where they go. That's why I didn't put them side by side, so I don't have that strip running across. See where these 2 kind of match up? If we'd have run them equally, then I would have just had this giant strip of that, and I didn't want that. So that's why we're staggering it. The other alternative is obviously you could cut them different lengths, 4-inch, 2-inch, whatever. So I got a couple extra pieces there. We'll keep those because I could trim this down and stick those on there if I wanted to, or we'll use our ephemera. So we've got that ready. That's where I want it. That's what I like. I like it that way. So we're going to do that. Now what we're going to use to glue it down is because I don't want to use up all my collage medium, and I've said this in other videos, the cheap collage medium is Mod Podge. Mod Podge is your original. That's pretty much your original decoupage go-to glue. So we're going to grab us a brush. I've got a brush that I use specifically just for that. So we're going to grab that brush and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start gluing these pieces down. So this is my paintbrush. It's just an inexpensive paintbrush. It gets kind of crusty from the glue, but it's stiff enough and loose enough at the same time. This works for the purpose that I need. My Mod Podge is a little bit old, so I'm going to shake it up real good because I want to make sure that it's not glumpy or clumpy in there. And sometimes you have to work around it. I've had a big bottle of this. I opened it up and it was half gone. I mean, it was like just half of it had started to glue itself together and I had to throw it away. But it's really hard to, you can get smaller bottles, but you know. But I love Mod Podge and I love this and I like it for this reason. Well, there we go. Get the lid open. One of the things that you can do is I can dip right out of the bottle, obviously, you know, just be careful. But I'll pour it in the lid sometimes and dip out of the lid. So I kind of got this laid out the way I want it. So I think you just pick a place and you start. So I want to start from the bottom. So we're gonna grab this one. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. Okay, apparently there's a lot more glue in that bottle than I realized because I just got it all over my. And actually, let's go ahead and slide these out of the way because what's going to happen is it's going to start getting everywhere. And it is what it is. All right, and let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to do this and kind of remember. There we go. That way I can kind of sort of halfway remember. All right, so I'm going to grab that and let's try this again. Goodness gracious, I got a lot of glue on there. Okay, and we're gonna put our Mod Podge on the back of our paper here. And then we're going to glue it down. Remember, this is the one that's kind of hanging off the edge. So we're going to glue that down. I'm not going over the top of these with the Mod Podge because I don't know how it's going to affect this. This is printed. It's my understanding this is not glitter paper. It's printed with that glitter, with that look to it, and that in itself is fascinating. But yeah, I don't want to Mod Podge over it until I know the result of that. I think it's going to be okay, but I feel like I would rather use the Collage Medium Matte. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a strip right there. We're going to let it dry, and we're going to see. And by the way, when I do this, and it's the same with the Collage Medium Matte, if you don't want the brush strokes, just go over it with your finger. Yes, you're going to have a glued finger. But that, to me, that's half the fun of this. I mean, I don't mind the gluey fingers. You can wash it off right away, or you can let it dry and then you can peel it off. I remember when I was a kid, that was just working with glue. There's something about dried glue and then you peel it off your hand. I think I shared in another video, we used to do that thing where you basically would make a glove out of the glue. We would paint our hands with the glue and then let it dry. And then you could peel it off. It's just you know, yeah. Some of you right now probably free. Oh, that just sounds nasty. I don't know if I want to, you know. Oh, it's glue. Ick. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know. All right. So now what I'm seeing down here is it hasn't dried yet, but it looks like it's hiding the sparkle. Okay. So and I don't want that. And we are going to cover most of this up, you know, with stuff, but I want that sparkle. So clearly what we're not going to do is Mod Podge over. So I'm going to let that dry and see if that sparkle comes back because it's still a little bit wet. So we're not going to Mod Podge over that, but we are going to get some down in the grooves and some on the wood. So for now, I'm just trying to get these pieces glued down. All right, and there's that one. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of glue on the top and it's not having the same effect as it did down there, but we'll know more once this dries. Okay. So, all right, so there's that. All right. Now let's just go ahead and pull these pieces off over here. Get them out of the way. And we'll just scoot these guys over here, and that's going to give me room to now work on this side. Now, so we got this overlap. This one's going to be just the opposite. We're actually going to come up a little bit. I think, yeah, we're going to come up a little bit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off camera. You don't need to watch all this. I mean, you really don't. But that's the idea here. But I love Mod Podge because, again, it's less expensive than Collage Medium. All right, let's get that. Yeah, I don't think I got enough glue underneath that little piece right there. We can fix that. Press that down, and get enough glue on that at all. All right, there we go. And what I will say this, I did it earlier. I don't know if you saw me. I'll do the next one and I'll show you. What I do like about glue, the wet glue, is, you know, it has a certain ability to slide and move, and you can position, and as you're putting it down, see that paper moves. So what I do is I press down and I twist, and once that twisting stops, once it stops wanting to slide, that lets me know I've got good cohesion on the bottom, a good adhesion on the bottom with the glue. And then we just go over that and we just press that down like that. All right, and I'm just trying to look and see. Yeah, it looks like when this dries, I'm gonna lose some of that sparkle. I don't know why. I think maybe the coating of the Mod Podge over that sparkle is hiding the reflective qualities, because again, I think Tim shared, there's not glitter on this. This is printed. It's printed, and if you paint over it, if you put something over it, it's gonna hide that ability of that glitter to come through. So there's that. All right. So that being said, I'm gonna finish all this up off camera, and then we'll come back when we're done and show you what we're gonna do to get it ready for everything else. All right, so got it glued down. A couple things here. For this paper, probably won't do this again for collage. The Mod Podge and even the collage medium does affect the surface, and you lose some of that pretty sparkle. Just to kind of show you the difference. You can see that one's a little brighter than this one, and I didn't even glue over everything. It's just if any glue gets on it, it just tends to lose. And I'm not sure how much of that's seeping through the back. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know the process of this, but I probably wouldn't use this again. That being said, this is going to work for now. And I did lay down some Mod Podge, and we went in the grooves, and we put a little bit of collage medium and Mod Podge in there, because I want to be able to do this, is what I really want to be able to do. And that's working. Okay, so that works. So you can use your finger, you can use a towel, you can use whatever you want to. I wanted to be able to go back into the seams and kind of add some of this crayon in. Now this is a little bit of a jagged edge. Plus this is jack-o'-lantern, which has a little bit of a shine to it. These are mica crayons. These are the mica stains, and the crayons are based on the same kind of principle. But they're not making these anymore. Tim said these are not coming back. Logistics of making them and everything. So I've still got a bunch of these, and I'm using them up, and it's going to be sad when they're gone. Really just is going to be sad when it's gone. But what I like about this is that there is a shine in the mica, and if I can hold it up and see if that light will catch it, you can hopefully see that shine. So if you have any of these, these are great. Use them up, and then just however you need to use them up. But I just wanted to kind of make this a little more Halloweenish, a little more color. And you can use a brush here. I'm using my finger. I've already put all the collage medium down inside there. It kind of will wear down. It will kind of wear down the crayon, but I got to use these up. Like I said, these are not coming back, so I'm going to use them while I can. And I just like the sparkle, and I like the color that it adds to the project, and it helps fill in the whiteness, all that background. And yes, it looks a little rough. We're going to cover a lot of this up. It looks a little rough. If you're having a little issue getting in there, you can wet your finger just a little bit, and that'll help move it some. There we go. I don't know how that's going to affect the paper, but don't care. Let's see. Let's put some down here. Smudge that out. Yeah, and when your finger's wet, it works really well too. But yeah. But while we're here and while we're working, I do want to mix in a little flickering candle. So let's just put a little bit right there. And you can see that yellow blends in nicely. Don't care if it gets on the paper. Paper's already shiny. But I just want to add, I'm just trying to add a little bit of that extra color just to kind of mix it up. Get a little bit right in there. And you can see how it's already just kind of bringing parts of it to life. That yellow is just, that flickering candle is just so bright, so crisp and shiny. Let's put a little bit right in here. Work that in. Maybe a little bit down here. And a little bit down on the bottom. And the colors lay over each other nicely. So we've got pretty much got the prep work on this one done. Get a little bit on the edges down here. Pretty much got this one done. I'm going to let this sit and let everything dry up, dry real good for a minute or two. And then we're going to come back and we're going to start putting together. I'm going to show you what I've got. I didn't have an idea when I started this. I had no idea. I just wanted to make something for Halloween. That's just the bottom line. So guys, here's the way this works. When you're working with a project, when you're crafting and you're in your craft room, if you've got an idea and you want to do something, sit down and start. Tim talks a lot about compartmentalizing. And I do that too, but sometimes I don't have an idea, but I've got to make something. And so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to grab what I got. And it may be a week working on a project, but I'm working on it and it just sort of comes together. So I'm going to show you what I have come up with, some ideas that we've come up with already. I love these little guys here. So I'm thinking about putting kind of like bracketing, probably wind up bracketing the bottom with the doors there. We got this really cool piece right here. That's gonna, I think that would look good up there. And we'll color that in a little bit. We'll darken that a little bit and just kind of, I like that. But I did find, love this. I've always loved this photo. And now it fits, I couldn't find a window that it fits in, but here's the thing. You can cut the photo. And I found that this right here, let me pull it down. That just looks so cool. She's like she's looking through the window. That's just so haunted. We glue that together, and then we're going to cut off the excess. No big deal. So that actually works, but I love that. I will say, too, that these little twins, you know, you could put them in the bottom of the window, or you could have them kind of standing looking out the top of the window, and then just put something behind them, you know. So not sure which direction I'm going to go yet, but those two are there. Did grab this little dude here. I love the bat wings. There's several different, is that supposed to poke out? Yep, there's a little piece there that's supposed to poke out, but it's not quite cut all the way through, so we'll get that later. But I like him with the bat wings. Tried the smaller bat wings. I don't think they quite look right. Let me grab the tiny bat wings. I could go with the tiny bat wings. If I put them maybe a little lower, you know, I might could go that way, but yeah, or just do it that way with just the wings kind of sticking out over his shoulders. That's pretty cool too. So I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to use yet, but I may wind up using him. So I've laid out stuff to get ready. We got all these strips too, ephemera strips. See, and this is where you can. I don't want to cover up everything I just colored in, but in a project like this with these squares, now I can go back and I've got all these strips that we can use to try and, you know, do a few things with. And let's see, we've got, just drop some pieces in there and different. So I've got my ephemera off to the side. Got all these really cool baseboards. I may wind up using one of these signs. I'm not sure yet. Not sure. I just grabbed these out because, you know, we're gonna play around and see if we find something that really speaks to us. We're gonna start putting this together. Just kind of go with it. Oh, and I got to pull all my books out here because Tim just did the video on the books and I'm in a bookmaking mode. And I'm going to make another video and I will show you, what did I do with it? Oh, I must have already moved it already. Well, rats. Where did I put them? I don't know. All right, but I was going to show you something, but I don't guess I will because I don't have them. I must have moved the certain parts already. Okay, but let's go ahead and get these book covers out of the way. And we've got these little wooden pieces that came. And what I'm actually going to do is put the window, and I'm just putting it wonky right now just to see how I like it. But the reason I'm doing this is because these are bigger than the window, but I really like those on the window, so I really like that. And of course, let's see. Yeah, I like that. So I think I just need to decide where I want to put this on the, how I want to do this on the overall project. Can't really put it up high because I still want to put this up here. like that there. I do like that there. So I'm going to set that there just to keep me from... So let's grab my picture. Let's see here. Let's maybe we don't go wonky. Maybe we put that there. Let's get her situated where we want her. I don't have to trim it down because it actually can be covered up. I love these little wooden pieces here. And let's see. Yeah, and that actually hangs off a little bit there. So I'm actually going to put that one there and that one there. Now it's not quite flat, but that's okay. Yeah, I do have to trim the picture. I actually kind of like her there. I like that, but I think we're going to center it. I think we're going to make this the centerpiece. I think I'm going to do some, and then we'll get a little more creative. But I do like using this. So you'll notice that because these are bigger than the picture, what I thought I'd just use those boards, but they stick out the bottom. So I just slide that down. It doesn't have to go all the way to the top. So we're going to do that. But then there's a layer issue. It doesn't want to see how it, and that's okay. So we'll just need to put something behind the top part there. And honestly, what I could do is just cut one of these in half and put that. So that's probably what we're going to wind up doing. You'll see that in a minute. So for now, let's slide everything out of the way. Let's pull this down. Let's get our picture. I want to get her where we want her. I want to get her situated. And she really fits pretty much. Yeah, let's come down a little bit. So this side's working out perfect. So I like her there. You can see a little bit more of her. There's something about that, something wispy about it. So I think that's what we're going to do. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me get my Collage medium. Let me see if there's anything left in this bottle. Looks like it. Just a little bit. Okay. And we're gonna, all right, and then we're gonna just slide it till we get it right where we want it. I like that. Oh, she's trying to move on us a little bit, so there we go. Let's do that. And we're gonna let that dry. Yep, yeah, that Collage medium has grabbed, so we are good. I'm actually going to dab, and it'll dry clear, but I'm actually going to reach in, kind of dab off some of that excess there. I don't want it to, I could have put a window on there, could have put, could have done a few different things, but that looks really good. Just kind of creepy looking. I like that. So we're going to let that dry. We're going to trim that. And she's going to wind up going, I think we're going to wind up putting that roughly in the middle. So all I'm doing right now is just to frame things in. It's not going for perfection. I'm just trying to get an idea of where she's going to be so I can start laying maybe some other stuff out. Let me see, is there a skinny one? I kind of like that one a little bit better. And these actually have look, little shapes to them, like actually broken, like warped pieces of wood, which is pretty cool. And I don't like that piece. All right, let's grab that one. There we go. Not that it matters right now. Okay. So while that's drying, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this brushed corduroy. And I'm looking, I started to go, I went with Fallen Acorn because it's a little bit darker, but I don't really want to use the shiny. I don't want anything shiny on this. So I'm going to see how this brushed corduroy looks. There we go. Yeah, and it kind of gives, oh yeah. Boy, it gives it that nice yellow. Now this is a baseboard. So baseboards have this really awesome, smooth, glossy finish, which means that you can smear it with your fingers super easy. And so that just kind of yellows the whole thing. I like that. I like the way that just kind of gives it that oldie moldy kind of look. So we're gonna put that on there. And I'm actually gonna, I was gonna grab, where's my other one? I was gonna grab a little bit of the peeled paint, and we're gonna just put just a little bit of that in there. We're gonna kind of work that into the corners there. And this is great because you can use your fingers with this. You can use a water brush, whatever you need. But this just really, it really takes these colors. I like using a distressed crayon on my baseboards. So we darkened that up. Let's put a little bit right in here. Okay, there we go. And then we just kind of, so I like that. I think maybe just a little bit there, a little bit there, because it's a little bit darker than that brushed corduroy. That brushed corduroy is a little bit yellower. I like that. Let's grab a little more of the brushed corduroy up here. I'm not cleaning my finger because I don't care if the colors overlap. And let's see. Now the only thing I really want to do, I'm going to clean my finger now, is I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to put a little water on it, just a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of tap to break that up. And just kind of, and what that did was that just lifted off some of the color, and it gave it that kind of that peeled look to it. I don't know how to explain it, but it, you know, hopefully you can see that on camera. But just tapping it wet, if I wiped it, it's gonna pull that right off, and I don't want to pull it off. I just want to soften it, and so I think that's good. And let's see, that's actually wet. Let's get that. There we go. So now what I can do is just because I want it a little bit darker right here. I'm gonna add a little bit more of that brushed corduroy. Just kind of places where it didn't come on, just gonna go back and just throw in just a few little spots. And by the way, you can do the same thing with a wet finger. Just wet your finger and tap it, and it'll kind of, there we go. I like that. Okay. So there we go. So we've got that nice and colored up, and it has a little bit more of a distressed look to it. I like that. Okay. And you can use whatever color you need. If you want to even go with color, you know, like a light color or more of a fall color, Halloween color, you can do that as well. So we got that piece ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that there. I'm trying to decide. Let's see. I feel like I want to use one of these signs. I just don't know which one or how. Maybe not. I do like making her the centerpiece. I'm just trying to decide if I want to do the same thing on those windows. If I want to grunge that up a little bit. And I actually think I do. So I'm going to go back to the peeled paint and just in this center part here. And see how, just to kind of make that shutter part there. I like that. Put just a little bit here. And we're just going to kind of, okay, so not much, just to give it that little bit of look of being worn. Just a little piece right there, maybe just to kind of, Yeah, I'm gonna touch right there where it's actually, the paint's actually peeling. So we're just giving that just to try and give that a little bit of, I like that. I think maybe just a little bit more down in here. So I like that. We're going to grab this. And we're going to do the same thing. And there we go. I like that. So those are ready to go. All right, we've got this where we want it. She's glued down nice and good to go there. So we're going to grab our scissors. And we're going to go ahead and just trim her off. Really the most important part was right here, where it was kind of sticking up and sticking through. So, because the rest is going to be covered by those shutters. But there was a little bit sticking through there, so we're going to trim her off right there. And there we go. And now we're all set. Oh, that's going to look so good. And we put the wood strips back down there. And I like adding that little bit of, and we could go darker. I just like peeled paint. I mean, it's called peeled paint, so let's take an old peeling, piece of wood, and there you go. All right. Well, actually, we need to do the window. This one, there's the white. So we're actually going to go a little bit different on this. I'm going to try and stay off of some of the white and just kind of well, no, I'm not. I'm just going where there's, just going where it looks like I need to put it. Looks good, looks good. I'm going to put a little bit more, a little heavier down here on the bottom. And I'm not going to blend that one out as much. I'm going to keep that. I like that little bit of that darker spot. And we're actually going to put a little bit of a darker piece right there. Maybe just a little bit right in here. I'm smoothing it out, but I'm keeping that base darkness. Smooth it and keep it in that same spot. There we go. Kind of like that. And I feel like the ridge line needs to have a little bit. There we go. Looking good. Look at that. Love it. All right. So we've got our basic part here. So now I just want to kind of look through and see what I've got. So I like this ghostly. I think that needs to be used. I like the condemned. Said we like the ghost train tag. That's going on there somewhere. Let's see. I feel like a raven's going to be a good fit for that. Let's see here. I've got all my bottles. Shake well, poisons for external use only. Warning may be habit forming. All these little pill. All those, we'll keep those. So I like the 31 and the 13. I might use a tiny one. We'll see. I'll drop him there just in case I decide to ghostly. I like the curious. Let's see. Got that October 31. Throw that. Poison. Let's see. What else have we got here? Ooh, that owl. Owl doesn't really speak to me. I like the bewitch. So we're going to ghostly bewitch. So those are working really well there. And let's see what else we've got. All right, right, let's see what else we've got. Let's see. I like Trigus. Maybe. And then let's see. Ooh, that looks good. Oh yeah, that toxic. That looks good. Don't know exactly where I'm going to put all these yet, but I do like them. Something about that. Oh yeah, I think that dead rose there's going to kind of look good. All right, we got all these big pieces. I don't need any of these big pieces off to the side here. Black Crow brand. Nah, yeah, we're not going to go with that. It's all these pieces. These are all big pieces. I'm just looking to make sure, because I literally just dumped it out of the plastic container I had it in, so I don't want any good pieces kind of getting buried in amongst all these big pieces, like that one right there. All right, so let's put these over here. Now we'll show you maybe in a minute. I also have, if you're having a hard, you don't like going through your ephemera like this, there's different ways to store ephemera. I store mine in a book. So we'll show you that in a minute. Ooh, look at that. That would have been that would have been pretty creepy too. I'm gonna put her over here so I can use her for something else. I don't need the web. So I'm just looking through all these pieces here to see. So this is what you do. You just go through them, whatever speaks to you. So there's a bigger condemned. I don't think I think small. I think that's the right size for this particular collage. If it was a bigger piece of wood, then yeah, we totally would do that. Actually kind of like that. And then just this little piece. Don't know what this is, but I kind of like it, so I'm going to throw it there. Creepy eye speaks to me. All right. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me just look through again. Ghostly, Bewitched, Curious, Wicked. I'm going to grab that just because I don't know that I'm going to use all 4 of those, but I do feel, I don't know why I keep coming back to these poisons. So I feel like at some point I'm going to use I'm going to use a poison. That might be that small one. That's just let's see. Kind of had an idea with all these little butterflies down here, but I think I'm going to wait on that. Yeah, I think we're going to wind up using those 2 little poisons, and maybe one. Maybe is there a big one? I had a big one somewhere. Yeah, I think maybe one of the big ones. I feel like I'm going to use that. Poison. All right, so there's a bunch of stuff there. Looks good. And we are set. So I'm going to kind of clear some things off, and we're going to put her down, get her situated first, and then we'll build around her. I may put some stuff, I may want something sticking out from behind, so I'm going to kind of think about it, and then we'll start gluing everything down and try and finish this one up. All right, so I just want to show you all this real quick. I had mentioned that I store all of my ephemera in a book. I use temporary adhesive, and I just sort through and just layer them on pages, however you want to do it. And I really like this because I have visuals of I can see what I need. I've got layers, the glossy layers. This is the Christmas layers and paper dolls. So you can see these are all the Christmas ones. And so I just, this is just easy for me. And I also have my ephemera in here somewhere. There we go. So these are Halloween layers. There's the girl we just used in our project we're working on. So just something that if you're interested in, there is a video on my YouTube channel. You can just go back and search for it. If you're watching this, just search and you'll just look for storing ephemera and you'll find it. So I'll move that out of the way. All right, so I wanted to show you this. All right, so basically what we did today, was I had a little free time before work and I started to put some stuff together, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be videotaping, and I didn't. So anyways, so this is glued down. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I did cut the baseboards. These cut with scissors. You can just cut them, no problem. And so now what we're going to do is we're just going to put the windows on. And so all I'm going to do there is just come over and grab my Collage medium And I just put a little bit on the back. Does not take a lot. And you're going to put that down. And I do kind of slide it to get it worked. And then I'm just flushing it with the bottom. I'm going to press down. And we're going to leave that. And while that's sitting there and drying, we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I actually have a bigger bottle of Collage medium. In fact, let me go ahead and break out the big bottle because I want to save the smaller one for other projects. So let's grab our big bottle here. And just like I say, we just put it on the back. Collage medium's super great stuff. It just works really well. So I slide it and get it flush with the bottom, then we're gonna press it down. And yep, that one's already catching, so we're doing good there. Gonna press down. And there we go. All right, now I did take my peeled paint and I did rub a little bit on the baseboard. You can see the difference color. It's kind of more green there. I put a little bit more back up on the top pieces up here just because I just really like this green. I just like the way it looks. Oops. All right, we gotta let that finish drying. So that's not, maybe you don't do that while it's still drying. It does take a second because you're dealing with baseboards and you've got some layers going on there. So I'll leave that alone. That'll be nice and dry in a minute. All right, so that's what we got there. Now what I wanna start doing is I did grab my sticker book. This is the 2024 sticker book. I haven't ordered the 25 sticker book because I'm just looking through trying to decide some of these phrases and stuff. I'm gonna put something on the window. Not sure what we're gonna do just yet. I was actually looking for something that said condemned. I like this condemned, but it just doesn't quite fit the theme. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this because I like her and I like the old wooden look. I don't know. So we might wind up using that. But I'm thinking I'm going to use something out of the sticker book. I'm just not sure what. So we're gonna put that there. So I've got all the pieces that we're laying on there. They're just kind of scattered around here. And this is where we just start throwing things together. I like this little strange little spinny wheel here. I just don't know what to do with it. And it's so bright, it kind of almost doesn't match the theme, but I want to use it desperately. I just don't know how. So I'm trying to see if I can layer something over it. Ghost train ride, that kind of looks, oh, I actually like that. That's gonna help do it. That's gonna do it. That's gonna work perfect. All right, so all we do now is we just grab our Collage medium and we just start gluing stuff down. And we're gonna put you right there. Got a lot of glue on there. You can see it coming out from underneath when I pressed on it. Just kind of did that. If you don't like that, it'll dry and go away. It like I say, I think I've said before, Collage medium shrinks and it dries clear. So, all right, now we're going to take this ghost train. Oh, almost forgot. Let me get my scorched timber, distress ink, and my little new mini blending tool. I love these new mini blenders. And I hit the corner. I'm going to hit everything. All the ephemera that I'm using is going to use that scorched timber just to darken those edges. I just don't. It's not that I want the edges dark. I just don't. I don't want the white paper. I just don't like the white paper showing through. So there's that. Okay. Now I can grab some Collage medium. And well, there we go. Got to squeeze the bottom and get the glue out. All right, I guess I shook the glue down. Okay. And now we can just put that over that like that. Love it. And so this is just about just layering pieces on there. I just looked down and saw this and I really like that. So this is actually going to go, on. It's going to go on too. All right, and with the Collage medium, I did not distress that, but that's okay. I'm gonna put that right there. Gonna let it hang off the edge, so that's what we do. And I'm I'm actually tapping the glue down so that, and I'm gonna lay the bottle off to the side here on its side. That'll help me, you know, be able to get to it a little bit easier and use it. All right, let's see now. We're going to use, let's see, we like this toxic, That actually is pretty, that looks pretty dark. There's no white showing through there. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to, I think, yeah, kind of like it there. It's just look and go. It's just look and go. There's no, you know, there's no right or wrong. Once you put something down, it's down. And so that's going there. And once it's down, it's down. That's part of collage. It's part of collage work. I do like this. Let me go ahead and hit the edges of this condemned. I think what I'm going to do, actually I think what I'm going to do is we're going to tear that. And we're going to tear that. And now I'm going to go back over that with the distress ink to kind of just distress up that edge there. And I kind of want this one to be a little crumply-ish there, so we're going to do that. Just kind of just making it look a little. All right, I like that. Now we're going to grab our glue. And we're gonna just push that down right there. And that's it. And you still got a little bit of the crinkles in it. You can kind of see that. Gonna go over, and if you go over where you bent it with the, I could have done this before I glued it down. You can do it afterwards. If you go over it, where you bent it and those ridges in the paper, it grabs the ink a little bit more. So we're going to press that down, and we're going to leave that alone. And I'll actually hold it because I do want a little more. That looks perfect. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Fix that toxic. Keeps wanting to come up. Didn't get quite enough glue underneath that little corner there. We can always fix that later. All right, we did say we were going to put this up here. So let's just see. Do I want to? Yep. I'm not hitting all the edges because it's the little grooves in there. I could get in there a little more if I wanted. I'm just trying to soften it. You're making a, you know, depending on what you're doing, you know, if you're doing like a spooky kind of Halloween-y like we're doing here, then you definitely want to kind of soften those edges. So I'm just looking to see where I'm going to need to put glue. Those ends right there. Maybe a little bit right around the bottom here. And then we're just gonna put that right there. And I don't have it thought out. I don't have it laid out. You saw in the, you know, before I took everything off and put that down, I had pieces laying around, but I don't know exactly what I wanted to do with them, and still not entirely sure. So, you know, at this point, it's just, it's just, you just start gluing stuff down. And you can overlap whatever you want to overlap. If you don't want to overlap, you don't have to overlap. Do whatever you want to do. You do you. Thank you, Mr. Tim, for that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful insight of life. You do you. All right, press down. Now, I will say, too, that because I get this paper, this sparkle paper, the coating, however they do it, you know, so paper on paper, that collage medium is going to hold a lot faster. This is going to just gives you a little more wiggle room because you're different smoothness. And when you're gluing smooth to smooth, you just have to be a little more patient. All right, so we've got that. And let's see now. Yeah, we like this guy here, so we're going to put him on somewhere. Let's go ahead and hit those edges. And anything you want to tear or crumple, you know, you're welcome to do that. And I just feel like this one needs to be crumpled. So we're just going to crumple it up, and we're going to uncrumple it. And then I'm going to come back over it with what's left on the Look at that. Just looks so worn and just full of goodness, just full of Halloween-y goodness. All right. Put some Collage medium on there. I may have been off camera. I apologize. Then I just got to figure out where I want to put it. I'm going to put him right there. And I'm not necessarily trying to push out to the edges, because if the edges don't stick, like if the edges come up like that, I'll go back after the fact and actually burnish those edges up a little bit like that. So a lot of my collage pieces will look like that. Okay. I'm gonna have to be careful because I actually went too low there, and if I put that in a frame, if I put it in one of those stands, I have to make sure that's not gonna catch the stand. So anyways, it still works. Okay. Physician, Hiram Woods, physician, surgeon. I don't think we're going to use him. All right, let's grab our 13 here. Well, do I have any other big? Yeah, I was going to use this one. So let's go ahead and. So what do you do when you're creating? What do you like about creating? What is it? Do you like this process? Is this okay for you? Do you prefer to have more of a plan? You know what? Feel free to leave a comment down there. Would love to go back and read and see how you guys are, profiting from my videos, if they're hopefully encouraging you. And all we're doing right now, all I'm trying to do right now is I am taking some of these bigger pieces that I've got laying around. I want to make sure I get those on first. I was going to use these guys and I wound up not using them. Let me grab this kid with the bat wings here. I just feel like I just stuck my hand in my ink cube. I just feel like he belongs, like right there. I'm just trying to decide, do I want to use the bigger wings or the smaller wings? So, doggone it. Yeah, I think the bigger wings. I think we got to go with the bigger wings. And he's going to go right there. He just belongs there. I don't know. He just does. All right, so I got this weird little piece that's supposed to pop out. And, oh, I thought it wasn't cut right, but, well, it wasn't, but that's okay. If you have a piece that's not completely poked through, all right, just so you know, push to the back, and then when you tear it, if it does tear, it tears off the back side, doesn't hurt anything. If you push it through the front and tear it, you risk tearing the front of the paper doll. So, life lesson for you there. All right, so let me figure out how and where I'm going to put these wings, how I want the wings lined up. I think I kind of like it like that. So all I need to do for the wings is just put a little glue right around that middle part there, just where it's going to kind of be touching him. And we're going to put that on. And once you get that, that's going to, and this is glossy on glossy, so take just a second. You got a little wiggle room, but not a lot. And I like that. I think I like that right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm sorry if I'm off camera. I'm going to tap some of that extra glue up. See, and he's still sliding. That's Collage medium. He's still sliding around. So, there we go. All right, we've got him ready to go. I need to leave. Boy, he just keeps sliding. Again, paper on paper, but that glossy finish, that glossy coating, it's taking a second to bond. So I'm going to press and hold and quit moving around. I'm just going to hold it. Just hold it, just hold it, just hold it. And know it's grabbing now because it's grabbing my fingers. There we go. And we're going to set him off to the side. We're just going to kind of set him up here. Just let him finish drying. And while he's doing that, let me see. I just love these crows. I just can't, but I just feel like, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to wait and see because I got to get him put on first. All right, so let's go back to all these little tags that I was going to use. Let's grab the Bewitched. If this, if the Scorched Timber, like I say, if this is too dark for you, you can always use a different color. But again, I like the darkness, and just because we are going with a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and dirty it up and just kind of I don't want it bright. I want it dirty. I want it worn. So there we go. So we got the Bewitched. I put a little bit right there. Not worried about Bewitch. There we go. I'm going to put it right there. And once it's down, it's down. I'll leave you right there. I could probably pick it back up if I wanted to, but I don't want to. All right, let's grab the Wicked. It's just so much fun. It's just, I don't know. I wish I knew what it was about this that I just really enjoyed. But I just why this is so enjoyable, you know. But it is. You know, it takes me back to take you back to your childhood. All right, let's put the Wicked. We're gonna let that hang off the side. There we go. So again, I use all of my substrate, and I let everything kind of. All right, so now this guy. So I got a couple options here. See, I want him lifted up, so I think we're gonna have to grab a little bit of foam tape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach over here, and I'm gonna grab my thin foam strip. And let's see. That's a little bit more than I need. That's okay. And let's just run it kind of right down the middle there. And that's going to allow him to sit up a little bit. Okay, not completely. It's not quite as... So the foam tape isn't as thick as the baseboard, but that's okay. And then I think I'm going to go ahead. Let me see. Where's that wing falling? Let that wing, he's going to kind of come off the edge there. So let's put another one right here. Yeah, I think that helped. That helped give him a little lift. Okay with the feet being like that. All right, so we got that where we want it. Well, actually, what I want to do is double check. I'm going to put a little glue on the wing. Let's pull it down. We're going to put him right there. So I want just a little glue on that wing. So we're going to go ahead and pull off the backing on our foam tape. Grab our glue. Put just a little bit of glue right up there on the tip of that wing. And then we're going to position him right where we want him. And that's it. I can go back. I don't know. Always go back and put a tiny piece under his head there if you want, if you wanted. But I actually like that. It gives him just enough lift. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Boy, I like that. Oh, this is just coming together nicely. I'm having so much fun. I hope you are. So the next thing that we got is I think we got a happy little piece of ephemera. It says curious, and we're just gonna take this happy little piece of ephemera, and we're gonna take a happy, and we're gonna put him right there. We're gonna put him right there. I think that's where he wants to live. I think that piece of ephemera wants to live right there beside the Bewitched. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, and now we've still got the Ghostly. And I'm going to put the Ghostly somewhere. I don't know where yet. We'll figure it out. Got another happy little piece of ephemera. I miss Bob Ross. Okay. I don't want the Ghostly above the bat. I think the Ghostly... yeah, that looks good up there. There's the Ghostly. Right there. And let's see now. We've got all these little poisons. We got these 31s off to the side that we're going to use. We still got the... Nope, I'm not using him. I like this little round piece. All right, so this little round piece, you It's too much white. I can see it when I picked it up, all that white. Let's just get rid of that. And we're going to take this little piece right here, put a little glue on him, and he's going to go right there on the ghostly. There we go. All right. Well, we're getting close to being done. Toxic, condemn, poison. We got our pot wickets. Let's see. Boy, I feel like he's gonna. I'm gonna set that there because I just feel like it's gonna wind up going there. Let's see. What about this creepy eyeball? Nah, we'll save that for something else. All right, let me grab my tweezers because I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out my raven. Well, that might actually work. Put the raven right there. I like the little raven. I like him there. I just realized I'm holding two ravens. The tiny raven stuck to the big raven. All right, so we got that. Let me see how the small one looks. Yeah, he's got to go there. But he also needs to be lifted up. He's going to go there, but he's going to go there with a little bit of foam tape. So let me grab my scissors. Tiny little piece of foam tape. And I still have a little bit too big of a piece. So let me grab my scissors again. Let me grab my tiny scissors. So let's just trim that off and let's just put you right there. That's gonna work. I like that. I've actually got black foam tapes, probably what I should have used. So we're gonna peel that off and we're gonna see if we put him right there. There we go. I like that. I don't know, for some reason I like him lifted up off of the, and let's see. Ooh, that's a good idea. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of glue. Now there's easier ways to do this. In fact, I'm going to show you what Tim showed us the other day on a video. Put a little bit of glue on a piece of ephemera, and you just stick it under where you want it to go, and then you just slide it out, and that transfers the glue to the bottom. And I'm just going to press and hold because I need it to take a second because I want it to stick. I want the raven lifted off, but I want him laying flat. So we're going to do that. And that's paper on paper, so that's going to stick. But I want his tail stuck down too, so I'm going to get a little bit more. And we're going to come under here, just like that. And all you do is you just push and pull. And that glue it transfers the glue to the bottom. So we're going to do that. All right. So there's a neat little technique for you. And we're going to leave that. Oh, I like that because it kind of just gives it that dimension. That looks good. Ooh, this is looking so nice. So Halloween-y. So Halloween-y. Okay. All right, let's see. So let's put this guy off to the side. We'll use him for another project. Poison shake web. I'm just looking through all the little pieces I've got over here. All these wonderful tiny little pieces. I love these butterflies. I don't know if I want to use them or not. I kind of want to use them. I kind of want to don't. But yeah, all right. We're getting pretty close to being done here. So we're back to this Hiram Woods. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the same thing we did on the other. Let's go ahead and distress the edges. Let's go ahead and distress the edges. I don't know, with your foam, don't drag this way. It'll cut into your foam. You want to brush. You want to brush with the foam, okay? So be careful. The foam will last you a little while. It lasts a while if you treat it right. But if you're dragging across the foam, you're going to cut gashes into your foam, just so you know. All right, and I do want to scrunch that up. So we're going to scrunch that up, and then we're going to unscrunch it. And the reason I like doing that is because now when I go over it with the rest of the ink that's on here, you can see those little scrunches, grabs the ink nicely. That looks so good. And that's going to go right there. So we need some more foam tape. I'm going to grab just a couple little thin pieces, because I don't want a lot. I don't want to lose. So I'm looking at where it's bent, and I'm putting the tape kind of in line with that, because I don't want to lose the bend. I know I'm probably going to lose some of the bend, but I don't want to lose all of that bend. So that's why we put the tape on. That's why we put the foam tape on that way. And then now I can put this piece and just press wherever the foam, there we go. There we go. Actually got a piece, I think that foam tape kind of came up off the edge there. Let me tip it up and take a look. Yeah, I can see that. So we can fix that. And we will fix that in a minute. But right now, actually I'm gonna go ahead and fix it now. And just pull that up and just press that foam tape back under there. Just push it down. There we go. And to hide that a little bit, just going to put a little bit of glue and then just press and hold. And that just hid that piece of foam tape. Foam tape? Yeah, foam adhesive, whatever. All right. There we go. I like that. Looking nice, looking nice. Okay, we're almost done. I think, you can overdo, but we're not, I don't think we're there yet. All right, so this 13 just seems to be, yep, begging to go right close to our little vampire bat boy. So let's brush the edges. Let's grab a little Collage medium. And if you're going under a piece like we're going to do here, just use your tweezers. And we're just going to press that down. Again, don't care if the glue gets the whole corner or not. In this instance it did. You can see it spread out there. So for me, if I'm doing a true collage where I'm going to glue everything down and then put a coat over it and then maybe do some crayon work or something, that's one thing. But when I'm just trying to get a dimensional piece, see, I don't care if it doesn't glue all the way down. It's not going to come off. It's not going to come off. This just gives you, this allows a piece to look older and worn. Okay, so I want these edges. I want these edges. All right. So you do it the way you need to do it. See, like again, right here at the top, and just kind of bend that up. And you can tear. I love tearing that. I'm glad I thought of that. And so yeah. All right. Let's see. We were going to put some poisons on here. Poison. I got these tiny little poisons. I got another 31. And I just feel like I need, since a 31, that's too much 31. There, 31. Let's see. Do I want foam tape? Do I want to lift that up? No. I think I'm not gonna use that. I think I'm gonna grab my little tiny poisons here. And let's hit the edges. And just drop that there. I don't know where it's gonna go yet. Let's see. So nothing is speaking to me. Interesting. So we'll set those off to the side. And let's see. Well, those are all the pieces we had picked out. I was going to use one of these signs but I wound up not using it. I could still put that sign right there. I actually kind of like that. But here's the question, what do I want to put on the sign? What do I want to put on the sign? And that's where the sticker book comes into play. So let's flip open our sticker book. Let's see if anything jumps out. If nothing jumps out at us, then we won't do this. So you got the witches, all was dark again. Amelia Hardy, proprietress. Let's see, the witches. Let's see. The witches and the death of various departures. The end. The huge bike can utter despair. An uninvited guest. Ooh, I like that with the red. An uninvited guest. In the shadow of the trees. 12 o'clock on, let's see, most unusual. An uninvited guest. Most unusual. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this. Whether or not I use it on this piece, I'm going to take this an uninvited guest. And we're going to put it right there. And let's see. But she still shuddered. Ooh, I actually like that. I was going to go with most unusual. But I like this. An uninvited guest. But she still shuddered. Oh, I like that. Yes, this speaks to me. All right, so we're doing. That's what we're doing. Now, the only thing I want to do I want to? Yes, I do. I feel like since we've done, I feel like it does need a little. Need to cringe that just a little bit. Just to darken that just a little bit. Sticker paper is going to take the ink just a little bit different. Okay. So I like that. But she still shuddered. Shuddered. Still shuddered. Shudders. Okay, that was stupid. All right. I don't think that's going to fit perfect right there. So here we go. Got a little happy with the glue there, so that's gonna. Okay, and we're gonna press and hold. That will slide because that's slippery. It's glossy on glossy, so just press and hold. Dab up a little bit of that glue. And press and hold. And I'm going to leave. Touch nothing. Touch nothing. All right, this is looking really good. So if you need something a little, just trying to figure out what we need here. Yep, okay. So we're going to hit the edges of this one. The tweezers, put another spot of glue, just a little spot of glue. I'll pop that right there. And let's see what else have we got here. I feel like I might be getting a little crazy here, so I don't know. I want to poison somewhere. Yeah, guess what? Guess what? And we'll put this piece down that I'm going to have to break and go cook some dinner. And scrunch that up. Even if I don't, I'm going to hit it with the ink. I don't know it's going to do a whole lot, but I'll scrunch that up. Grab a little bit of glue. put it right there. Just holding it for a second because it's gluing onto that glittered, that sparkly cardstock. All right, we are almost done. So there we go, guys. Look at that. Man, that is just, there's so much going on there, but I love it. I like it. I like it. I like it, and I love it. So, what time is it? Yes, indeed. It is time for me to take a little break and go cook dinner. And hopefully tomorrow we will be able to finish this up. I'll take a last look at it and decide if there's anything else I need to do to it. And I may, add a few things, may try and, who knows. But that's the neat thing about a project like this, and if I walk away and come back and look at it and decide, oh, I don't think there's anything else left to do, that may be the end of that. Oh yeah, that's what we were gonna do. I wanted to put something across the top here, underneath that. And so now I've got all of these. All right, we've got the dead of night, and we've got dreadfully wicked, dearly departed from regions beyond. Let me see. Let me see. Dreadfully wicked from regions beyond. I like that one. All right. So we'll put that one on. Do I want to? Nope. We're going to put it right underneath it, just like that. And before I go cook dinner, let's go ahead and put that piece. Let's go ahead and glue this piece down. So just a nice little line of Collage medium. And just, there we go. All right, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at that tomorrow, see if there's anything else I want to do to it. Okay, so we've let it sit overnight. We're taking a look at everything here. Got a few other things we want to do. I do want to put this piece up here, just kind of like that. Just so it's a little, I like it. So we're going to go ahead and grab our little mini blending tool and let's go ahead and distress that up a little bit. I'm trying to decide if I want to tear it. And again, I do like that old torn look on some of the ephemera. Okay. I'll just try to smudge that up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to look really good. And we've crumpled all the others, so I got to crumple this one. It's just something about it just doesn't feel right if I don't crumple it. And then hit it with a little bit of the, there we go. Yep, I like that. Let's grab our Collage medium. Actually going to do it a little bit different this time. No, I'm not. All right, let's put that Collage medium on there. When you do this, it's like I'm not really sure where the glue is actually going to connect. So it kind of becomes kind of an exercise in randomness, true randomness. So let's do that. And I'm going to leave that just like that. Let that dry because then I can go back and probably puff up some of that. All right, now I was trying to figure, I just felt like something needed to go underneath this guy. So I like that. But I also, that's pretty cool. That's a little, not as big, and it just looks really neat. But I don't know. I really like this. So I think the key here is I am gonna tear this one. Just kind of tear it like that. Just a little bit of yeah, I like that. And that gives it, just helps it sit in there just a little bit different. So I like that. I like that. And then we're going to push it in. And now it's sort of, it's kind of like where the glue is and everything. So I'm just going to use my tweezers just to make sure I get some good adhesion there. Just reach down under there and just kind of press down on that part. Make sure that that catches nice, and I'm going to put a drop right under there. I can see. And put a drop right there. All right, I like that. Just a little something else coming off of the, again, I don't like the blanketness of it. So I saw this owl and I'm like, oh, that's just too perfect for the sign. So we're going to put him on the sign, but we want him to stand up a little bit. So I'm going to grab my foam tape. And we're just going to run a strip right down his belly. I'm trying to, okay. And we're going to put him right there. Nice, 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 nice. And then, let's see. Where'd the piece go that I cut off? There it is. I'm going to keep that handy because I might be able to use that. So set that over there. Just set that off to the corner. If not, I'll throw it away. All right. And I do want him to be kind of, I don't want his feet to actually be sticking there. So let me put just a little bit of glue. This is precision. This is surgical. Decoupage or collage work. There we go. And just set that there for a second. Perfect. I love that. Oh, this is coming together nicely. I think I've got, oh, is there anything that I haven't glued down yet? Let's find out. Nope, it's all glued down. All right, that looks good. I want to say I'm done. So I'm just going to take one last look at it. Like that. I should have maybe crumpled that, but that's okay. I think we're good. Feels like there's a little, you got the shiny coming through from the crayon. You know, I think we're good here. I think this looks pretty good. I wonder if I threw a little peeled paint on top of that, how that would, oh yeah, that looks good. Kind of grunge that up just a wee bit. Yeah, a little peeled paint there. Maybe a little bit right there, just to kind of darken that bottom. But I like that. So you know, covered a lot of stuff up. You know, different plan than when I had started, but you still got that all the sparkly background there, kind of coming through. You got your layers. You can still see some of the grooving. So it looks good to me. Like I said, this one went a different direction than when I had first started it. But I like this. Now, we never did the sides, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Let me grab this brushed corduroy. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's a little better. It looks like putting the extra on there. Making, you know, maybe 2 coats. You got to let it seal real good. But it's rubbing in really nicely. Having to be careful because I'm, you know, obviously the project's finished. So we would want to do this before you do all that. So yeah, this is working pretty nice. I like this. I like this. So you could do that if you want it on the sides, and I may go back and do that. We'll do it off camera though. Where it's still dark, that's from before where we didn't have enough collage on there and the crayon just kind of bonded with the wood. But that looks pretty good. I like that. The trick about doing something like this now is I've got all these pieces hanging off the edge. So probably the easiest thing to do would be either to paint it or just leave it alone. But I do like that. I actually think I could get this edge pretty good. And just checking, yeah, I can tell from before there's not nearly enough Collage medium on there. So maybe 2 coats, or maybe just definitely put an extra layer on there and let it dry real nice. But there we go. So that's that. So let's take one final look at our project. I think the only other thing I did, I think I added this 31. And then I went through my book, and I don't know why, I just was looking through the sticker book and I saw this one. And I thought that just fits perfect. Calls answered day or night. So I kind of cut the corner and clipped it and put it where it looked like where he was kind of holding on to it. The way his arm is, looks like he could be leaning on something. So we could have put him leaning on the sign. Could have done a couple different things. But again, I'm just putting stuff down. And if I like something enough and I see a way to change it, I could go back and I could redo this. Be very similar. I've got enough ephemera. I could almost duplicate this exact same one. And maybe put him over here leaning on the sign. But I do love the owl sitting on the sign. I love the raven there and the little bit of flowers up there. So this is just a good project. We got a little sparkly in the background. So it has that fallish Halloween vibe. What I did do down here, because this was sticking over, is I just bent it and folded it up and pushed it in like that. And that just adds to that rugged kind of crunched up look. So if I do put this into a stand, it's going to fit nicely. So there you go, guys. There is this project. It is all done. Looks good. We put our crayons on there, on here, and on our baseboards. It came out really well. Just added that kind of grunge look, that moldy, Halloween-y look. We used our distress ink for all the edges of all of our ephemera. We crumpled some pieces up, glued it down, left the pieces raw like that, and just kind of. Then what I'll do after the fact is I kind of pinch it down, just pinch those corners, and it just, just if you want to rough it up, do whatever you need to do. To make it look like you want it to look, so just do that right there. Got a little bit, it's yours. It's yours to play with. And we left these edges up for a reason. Doesn't have to be glued flat. So there you go. So one final look at our Halloween piece, and we're going to call this one done. And as always, we're going to wish you a very happy Krabby Krafting. So until next time, as always, the ability to create, I believe, is a gift from God. So happy Krabby Krafting. Until next time, God bless.